What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video. It is Tuesday. It is September 12th. We are back with a full 15-game slate for MLB. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time. If you've never been here before, we have a giveaway almost every single day as long as a video gets at least 50 likes. So anytime a video gets 50 likes, you leave a comment and you are a subscriber, you have a chance to win a free week of DFS content brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Anytime a video gets 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month. 125 likes, a chance to win a free year. And anytime a video gets 150 or more likes, you have a chance to win a lifetime pass brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So definitely, if you find this video helpful or useful at all, let us know. We just squeaked by yesterday again. It's been kind of on the downtrend, I think, because NFL is back, but that's just, I'm going to be pumping out more NFL content as well. So my thought is weekly we'll be doing the initial rankings videos. Those will come out. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and defenses. And then on top of that, we have the matchup tool that we can kind of talk about. We had the video on the bacon eaters, or the plays that we liked of the certain plays that fit the categories that we liked last week. Thinking about doing that, and I've been thinking about doing an all-encompassing video talking about just the entire slate, the stacks that we like running this quarterback with these wide receivers, and then bring it back with wide receivers from the other end, from the same game. Been looking at all of that. Again, week one, if you've never played NFL DFS, week one was a very weird week one. We saw a lot of injuries. We saw a lot of things that shouldn't have happened. Like Joe Burrow had 81 yards. The weather, there was weather in a few games. I'll give you that. But I mean, the Giants, lost 40-0. A lot of things went really odd. So if that's the very first time you've ever played NFL, it's not indicative of how NFL DFS normally goes. We still cashed. Like, everything that we had on the website was pretty good. Obviously, the Joe Burrow didn't work out. J.K. Dobbins, according to our matchup tool, he was the number one running back against the defense. Tore his Achilles. Dude can't stay healthy. Tore his Achilles and stuff like that. So anybody ready, just let me know. We're going to be pumping out some NFL content. We already have it on the site too. Every week we have a bunch of things going over there. So FTA Plus, $24.99 for a month, gets you a ton of information. That includes MLB, NBA, NBA once it starts, MMA weekly, NFL, PGA. PGA is back this week. If you used our NASCAR lineups, they all cashed it. The cheat sheet was awesome. Got a lot of people that came and said they really enjoyed the NASCAR stuff. So we've got all of that on the website. So definitely check that out. We're going to do through week 2. If you still want to get the yearly pass, normally $199, get it for $99. Use the promo code NFLVIP there. That being said, we do have a full baseball slate. We've got some early games. We've got 4 early games. I think we're at that part of the year where you're going to have about 4 early games almost every single day. And then we've got the main slate. So we're going to go through it all. If you've never been here before, you are in for a treat. So, that being said, let's see who the winner of yesterday's video is. There's only 18 total 18 comments that weren't like duplicated or the same person or myself responding. So everyone has a good chance, and you have a good chance to come back and win again and again and again. So the winner of the free week is Jonathan Shipley. Congratulations. Hit me up on email or on Twitter at advisors_team on Twitter, or email dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we'll get you squared away. I'm pretty sure you already have an account on the site, but let me know just to double check. So congratulations yet again. Come back tomorrow. Come back the next day. The next day, you guys can all win the exact same way he did. So that being said, we have some early games, 4 of them. Will weather be a concern? We might have weather concerns yet again, but we are going to continue on. So the first game is the Nats at the Pirates. You got Adon versus to be announced right now. According to DraftKings, they think it's going to be Bailey Falter. Now, he came out of the bullpen, so this one is, will he get the start? Will he get, opener? Will he come out of the bullpen? We don't know. 3.2 innings against Milwaukee. 6 days ago, 13.7 fantasy points. So not bad, but again, you're not getting the innings out of him. Splits-wise, he's not faced Washington this year. Pitching on the road, he does have a 3.96 ERA on the road, which is still better than his home. But the problem is, is he going to start? Is he going to be an opener? Is he going to come in long relief? That's kind of what we're looking at. And then Adon here, going against Pittsburgh. We actually used him against the Mets his last start. 5.1 innings there. 5 innings there, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks. Did have 3 walks, so could have had even more. Did hit the 2 times value, but obviously if he didn't have any walks, we were probably looking 16, 17, 18 fantasy points out of him for his price. Now he's going against Pittsburgh. It just depends. I don't know what we're going to get out of him. You're looking at 5 innings possibly. But, again, when it's an early slate like this, and then you've got the pitching that you can see, it's kind of writing on the wall what pitching you should go with in this one, but we're here to help you become a better DFS player. So, that being said, what bats do we like in this one? Now, it really just depends. I really don't like this game much at all. We have weather concerns in this game. We have weather concerns in 3 of the 4 games. That is the problem. So we do have weather concerns in St. Louis, or at Baltimore, at Pittsburgh, and at Detroit. It's all basically the same system. I don't know if it's going to mess up or not, if it's going to be a problem, but we'll still dig into the numbers and check it out. So, looking at the games, looking at the bats, depending on what pitcher you want, if it is Bailey Falter, we are looking at a lefty pitcher there. I really like Lane Thomas here. Keibert Ruiz, I'm okay with. There's just not a ton. I don't like this game a lot. I'd rather probably just focus on the Pirates bats against Adon here. Brian Hayes I would look at. I would look at Brian Reynolds. I would look at Jack Sawinski. I would look at Palacios as a cheaper option. Bay I would look at a little bit. Alika Williams. Again, though, I'm probably main focus is not this game. There is a weather concern. I don't feel confident about these batters. I just don't like this game a lot. So I'm probably avoiding this game. Next game, Cardinals at the Orioles. Obviously, if you've been here before, or if you've played DFS, MLB DFS, or you followed any MLB this season, you know that I'm not taking Adam Wainwright. You should not take Adam Wainwright. His numbers are awful. A Baltimore stack is going to be probably the most owned, especially on this slate. If you're playing like the all-day slate, okay on FanDuel, but Wainwright, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, they're throwing him out there. They're basically, for whatever reason, they're allowing him to just continue to throw. His last game against Atlanta, 5.2 innings, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. So his Ks were up there, 2.2 innings. I don't want anything to do with this. Baltimore, obviously, hasn't played them. He's pitching on the road where he's got an even worse ERA at 8.79. He's got an 8.19 overall ERA, 49 strikeouts. I am stacking all over Baltimore. And then they believe, as of now, so it's going to be John Means. Now, he has not pitched this year. Came off Tommy John. I don't know. I'm trying to see. So, yeah, he has not pitched since April of 2022. It's been a very long time. I'm just trying to see if he's like on a pitch count, if he's got anything going on. Obviously, we don't know what we're going to get out of him. And being at his price is still $8,000 coming off the IL, I don't know if I can trust that. He could have a good game. I'm probably just morely focused on the Baltimore bats. I'm not looking at anything with Adam Wainwright. I don't think I want Means. If you think Means comes in and gets lit up, Wilson Contreras hits lefties well. Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, Nolan Arenado. If Wilson Contreras is out for some reason, Andrew Kisner comes in, just slides in. Indecent right there. I don't mind him at all. Maybe Mason Wynn is going to be a cheap option. Richie Palacios is a cheaper option. You got Tommy Edman, which is in the middle of the pack there. You've got some options for this Cardinals team, but I am focused on just an Orioles team stack completely. So Gunnar Henderson, Ryan Mountcastle, Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander, those are all the big names that people are going to be over. I'm kind of going down a little bit. I'll have some of those. I'm looking at maybe a Ryan O'Hearn if he's in there. And Austin Hayes has some good numbers here that I really like. Or Adam Frazier has the numbers. Austin Hayes would be one if he starts. Cedric Mullins, you could look at maybe even a little bit of Aaron Hicks if he's in there. I believe Aaron Hicks is 4 for 5 against Wainwright. Now, obviously, that's not a huge sample size, but it's just a size of if he's in there, if he's starting, if he's cheap, you could look at him there. So, kind of looking at that. I want nothing to do with Adam Wainwright. Maybe throw John Means in a tournament. I don't know how deep he's going to go into the game. Again, it's like if you look, it's this. We've got, not that many pitchers that I feel confident about at all. So we'll look at those numbers just to see. But, stacking against Wainwright. Reds of the Tigers. It has to be announced right now, but they're believing it's going to be Brandon Williamson versus Joey Wentz. Now, Williamson coming off of the COVID-19 list, so he will start Tuesday. So, as long as he didn't have it bad and have, any ill effects, maybe tired or fatigue or anything like that, really don't know how it goes now. Hasn't pitched in September, so he missed his last scheduled start, had to be out a certain amount of time. Last pitched against San Francisco at San Francisco, which was a pitcher's park, and he only went 13.9. Going up against Detroit, let's see, hasn't faced them this year. He's pitching on the road where he has a 4.15 ERA, so just a little bit worse again, or a little bit better, but again, it's not huge. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with that. But if I'm looking at this, and then we've got Joey Wentz. It's battle of the lefties here. He did not do good against New York this last time, 0.2 innings and 1.1 innings. Against the Yankees, 5 innings, 10.5. So he didn't get 2 times value. Coming in, I don't think I want anything to do with this pitching. I want the bats in this one. So looking at the bats, the ones that jump out to you. So the Reds bats against Joey Wentz that I'd look at, Ellie De La Cruz. He is going to be expensive, but I'd look at him. I would look at Marte. I would look at Christian Encarnacion Strand. Jonathan India. Tyler Stevenson against the lefty, I don't mind. Hunter Renfroe against the lefty, I don't mind. Harrison Bader, if he does start. Historically, he hits lefties well. Not lately, not this season, but historically, if he's leading off, it's a cheap option at the top, but I don't know if he'll be there. Nick Senzel is another one that I would look at. Flip side of that, the Tigers bats, the only real ones that I'd look at, Torkelson. Wouldn't be surprised if Torkelson has a home run. I will definitely be having at least a couple of the sports bets with Torkelson to hit a home run on this slate. I'll look at him. Kerry Carpenter I'm okay with. Rather take Carpenter against righty, though. It really depends. There's not a ton in this lineup that I like. Torkelson, Carpenter, maybe Matt Vierling. There's just not a lot. I'll be mainly focused on Torque and then maybe some Reds bats if any jump out once I do, like BVP, once I do the weather. Once we get all of that on there, I will check that out. A thing I did forget to mention, if you've never been here before, we do simulations during the whole day and posted on the website about an hour or two before first pitch of the main slate. We do 10,000 simulations. But in this video, we're going to do 2,000 simulations. We're going to give you the top 15 batters on the slate and then the top pitchers, top 10-ish pitchers on the slate according to 2,000 simulations. We don't always agree with them. It's just a good way to kind of show you where they're at now, and then the simulations where they're at right before first pitch. So you can find those simulations under MLB DFS player projections over there. So we have a ton of information, some free, some part of FTA Plus over at FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So I do want to say this. I just learned that the Cubs are calling up Pete Armstrong Crow. Is that his name? No, Pete Crow Armstrong. They're calling up their prospect for the playoff run. And I just found out that his mom is the mom from Little Big League. Like, actually the mom from Little Big League is his mom. I did not know that. If any of you knew that, just tell me you knew that. I had absolutely no clue that was a thing. I don't know why that hasn't come up since before today. Not a clue. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. Braves at the Phillies. We saw Saturday. We saw yesterday that the first game was awesome. Back and forth, went to extra innings. We know both of these teams can hit. Now, that's the problem when looking at pitching here, because I know both offenses are very, very good this year. I'm kind of scared to use either pitcher. But if you look at this, if you don't use either pitcher, that brings you down to Means, which we don't have any guarantee on how long he'll go. Bailey Falter, which, okay, is he going to start? Is he going to come out of the bullpen? Williamson, who's coming off the IL, or COVID IL. We got Adon against Pittsburgh, okay. We got Joey Wentz, and then we got Adam Wainwright. If you look at this, this does not line up for a good early slate. So, personally, I'm probably just sports betting these 4 games, like home run bets and stuff, or extra base hits. I'm not looking at DFS, but I wanted to bring this to you. And on top of all of that, 3 of the 4 games have weather concerns. Everything is against this slate completely, pretty much. You got Max Fried versus Wheeler. You've got Fried, who's faced 189 plate appearances of the Phillies. They've hit 323 against him. And then Wheeler, 247 plate appearances. Again, they've seen each other a ton. A 215 batting average against him, which I don't know if that really matters, because the way they've been hitting, I don't want really anything to do with the pitching. I'm looking at everything hitting-wise. So if I'm looking at the Braves bats against Zach Wheeler coming in, I mean, again, the Braves are hitting like historically amazing right now. Like 280 as a team. So Matt Olson against Wheeler, I don't mind. A Ronald Acuna Jr. Bat, I don't mind. Austin Riley, Ozuna. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Sean Murphy or Travis d'Arnaud, but Sean Murphy has good numbers. As you can see, the batters with a bunch of red. Michael Harris had a big day on Monday. And then if you don't want to pay up for those, you could look at an Eddie Rosario. You could look at an Ozzy Albies. Kevin Pillar came off the bench in the first game and hit a ball right up the middle to take the lead. Like Nicky Lopez has been contributing to this team. Luke Williams, Forrest Wall, those are all cheaper options. While everyone's going to be in this, you could find a little bit of exposure here. It really just depends on the lineup that comes out. That's the problem, because all of these are going to be in that lineup, and these lower guys are probably not coming in until like a pinch hit, or they're going to pinch runner and then get in the game that way if it goes that far. So that's where I'm at there. And then the flip side of that, the Phillies bats against a lefty here. Trey Turner's at the top of the list. Dude is turned it on. He killed it in the WBC, did absolutely nothing for like the first 2-3 months of the season, maybe even 4 months of the season. Got a standing ovation in Philly, hasn't stopped hitting since then. Absolutely murders lefties. I'm looking at him. Schwarber leading off. Brandon Marsh against the lefty. I don't mind Bryce Harper. Bohm and Real Muto against the lefty. Castellanos against the lefty. That's what I'm looking at, those big numbers. And you want to drop down a Bryson Stott possibly. You could be looking at a Bryson Stott there, a Garrett Stubbs, Sosa. It really just depends on the lineup that comes out. But again, it's probably going to be these top here. Christian Pache is a cheaper option. Don't know if he gets in the game, though. That's the problem. He's more of a late inning replacement, defensive replacement, I believe. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I will have some exposure to this game in sports betting. I don't know if I'll have any exposure to this game in DFS, because outside of this, there's not much going on this early slate. Then the final one is, no, actually, that's the final. Those are the 4 games right there. So we are done with this. Like I said, though, you're not using Wainwright. I don't think I can use Wheeler or Fried because they're just so good. Means coming off the IL. Falter, maybe, but I don't know if he's going to start. Williamson, there's not a ton to like here. So thankfully, we're off of this, and we're on to the main slate. So looking at the main slate, we've got the Rangers at the Blue Jays. You got Max Scherzer versus Ryu. Now, Scherzer has faced them in the past, has had success. Ryu coming up the problem is Both of these teams are good. Scherzer is 11,300. He got lit up his last start against Houston, minus 4.1 at 11,000. Now they've bumped him up to 11,300. Against Minnesota, had a good game. Against Minnesota, had a good game. Against Milwaukee, did not have a good game. Had a good game there. Okay game against Oakland. The White Sox there, 24.1. So at his price, I don't know if I can trust him. Going into Toronto, he has not faced them this year. He's pitching on the road where he does have a worse ERA on the road, and he's the most expensive. 11,300 out of Scherzer, or second most expensive. I don't know if I can trust him enough at that price. He's got some good numbers, but which Scherzer are we going to get? Are we going to pay up that price and then get screwed? I hope not. Flip side of that, Ryu coming in here. His last start, we did take him against Oakland at 7,500. Got 13.7. Did not get us the 2 times value. Gave up 2 earned runs. Only went 5 innings. As you can see, you're getting 5 innings out of him. That's it. You're not getting any more innings out of him normally. I don't know if it's a hard stop at 5 innings for Toronto. I don't know what's going on. So I don't try at 8,600, knowing he's probably only going to go 5 innings and he's going up against Texas. I don't want anything to do with this. I'm probably fading the pitching in this game and just looking at the bats. Obviously, we kind of know who we're going to go with Texas. Even against the lefty, Corey Seager against Ryu, I absolutely love. Mitch Garver against the lefty, I always pencil Mitch Garver in when he's going up against the lefty. Then that brings us down to Jonah Heim or a Nate Lowe or Ezekiel Duran. Those are the ones. Marcus Semien against the lefty, I don't mind him either. It's going to be the one where you need to pay attention to what Texas lineup comes out and then take the bats there. But for sure, I'm taking in my Texas stack, it's going to be Seager, Garver, and at least Semien, and then we'll mix and match and figure out who's going to be the rest of them, depending on who's in the starting lineup. And then the flip side of that, I'm probably not taking Texas, or I'm not taking Scherzer, looking at the bats. So Vlad or Bo Bichette. Brandon Belt is a cheaper option if you don't want to go that high on them. Davis Schneider's having a pretty good year this year. Look at him. Dalton Varsho. I would not be surprised. Kevin Kiermaier's another one. I would not be surprised if Scherzer gets lit up in this one. I don't trust Ryu either, so I'm out on both of these pitchers. Diamondbacks at the Mets, you got Ryan Nelson versus Jose Butto. Don't really know how you say his name, Butto. But yeah, let's go down here, find him. Ryan Nelson here. Coming in, game log wise, 5.2 innings he went, so didn't do bad against the Cubs at his price of 5,900. He's still 5,900 here, but that was an outlier. You got 5.2 and then 3, 6.2, 6, 7. It's been a minute. Splits wise, he's faced the Mets once already this year. Lasted 3 innings, 7 earned runs. Yikes. Now I want to see if that was in New York or in Arizona. That was at home in Arizona, which is a hitter's park. Going into this other one at 5,900, I don't know. Maybe tournaments, but I'm probably off of him too. And then, so they're right about the same price. 6,300 splits wise. Has not faced Arizona this year. Game log 6.1 innings against Washington, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks. Had a really good game there, 6,500, but that was his best game of the year. I don't trust him against Arizona, so I'm probably avoiding the bats or the pitchers in this one. I'm just focused mainly on the bats here. So looking at the bats that would make the most sense going against these two teams. Is Butto a lefty or righty? I believe he's a righty. He's a righty. Okay. So that brings me to Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte. Now, Ketel Marte's been day-to-day listed. I don't know if he's going to be in or out, so that's one to monitor. If he's in, I like Ketel Marte. Corbin Carroll, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I'm okay with. Jordan Lawler, I don't mind. There's just different ones. It depends on what you want. Tommy Pham has been hitting the ball well. I don't know if he's going to make a start against a righty, though. Definitely something to look at. And then flip side of that, if you're not using Ryan Nelson, you want to look at a Brandon Nimmo, you want to look at Francisco Lindor, you want to look at Pete Alonso, a cheaper option, Ronnie Mauricio, I would look at. Francisco Alvarez, I'm okay with. Jeff McNeil, I would target. A little bit cheaper, a DJ Stewart or a Mark Vientos is probably as far down as I would go if they're in the lineup there. So while we see this, I'm probably mainly focused on the actual offenses than I would on these two pitchers here. Then we move to the Yankees at the Red Sox. You got Carlos. I have 2 pitches, and I can't execute either of them. Rodon versus Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox in Fenway. I'm stacking the Red Sox here. I think we could probably maybe stack both, but I'm mainly focused on the Red Sox. I honestly don't. I mean, Rodon here, he's been so bad. I don't know how he's still 7,300. Coming off minus 2.6, then had 2 good games. One against Houston, against Tampa Bay. He couldn't pitch against Detroit. They wanted to sweep. Of course, they couldn't sweep that one. Splits-wise, he has not faced the Red Sox this year. He's pitching on the road where he has a 6.63 ERA. Still has a 6.60 ERA total here. Yeah. And he gets in trouble early. He went 73 pitches, then they pulled him. He went 3.2 innings, 5, 4.2, 6, 2.2. It's not looked good. I would definitely focus, and then we could look at Nick Pivetta. I think Nick Pivetta faced the Yankees. I want to say it was like Sunday Night Baseball, and he actually did really well. Let's see. Game logs, not so good here. Didn't get 2 times value. Didn't. So he hasn't hit 2 times value since August 20th against the Yankees. Went 5 innings, 2 earned runs, had 8 strikeouts there. He's faced them 4 games this year. No start, so he's come out of the bullpen. So now he's starting 9.2 innings in 4 games, 2 earned runs with 12 Ks. He's had their number before, but he has not started against them. I don't know if he's going to go, 5 innings and that's it. So that is definitely something to monitor there. The Yankees are hitting better now, well, except for being no hit until they won the game Sunday, than they were when they faced Pivetta back in August. So looking at these, I'm mainly focused on a Boston stack, a Justin Turner. It depends on who comes out, but Rob Refsnyder could be leading off the game. He would be in a good spot here, leading off the game. Justin Turner's been turning it around lately. Trevor Story, Tristan Casas, Devers. Adam Duvall dominates lefties, especially at home with the Green Monster. Could hit one out of there considering it's 300 inches away from home plate. It's a tiny ballpark. So yeah, I would definitely look at those. Devers would be the biggest name probably. And then just depending who else is out there. Those would be the main Boston bats I'd focus on. But let's definitely make sure. So if Refsnyder is leading off, I absolutely love him in this situation. He normally leads off against lefties, and he's 2,500. So if he is in there, he's a very cheap option for you as well. If you're looking at Yankees bats, Aaron Judge, obviously, Giancarlo Stanton has, I believe Giancarlo has 3 home runs against Pivetta in his career. So we could be looking at that. Everson Pereira had a huge double to tie the game up in extras, I believe, on Sunday. Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu are on fire. And then it really just comes down to who else is going to be in that lineup. Oswald Peraza has been hitting well as of late, too. So definitely make sure to see which lineup comes out. I would be looking at both sides. I do like the Red Sox as a stack a little bit more, but I will have some exposure to a Yankee stack, too. Next game, Tampa Bay Rays at Minnesota Twins. Zach Littell versus Joe Ryan. Now, we did use Littell his last start. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it Oakland or San Francisco? Seattle. We used him against Seattle. 8 innings. 8 innings in that one. 1 earned run. Only 4 Ks, though. Got 20.4. It is kind of sad they only got 4 Ks in 8 innings, but that was against Seattle. They were hitting very well at the time. Splits-wise, he has not faced Minnesota this year. He is pitching on the road, but he has a better ERA on the road. 3.60, I'm okay with. Tournament-wise at 6,700, I don't mind him. Especially at the same, like lower than Rodon I like. I don't like Steers at 7,100. I don't like Assad in Colorado. I don't like Budo. I don't like Jordan Lyles. So there's a ton of options right around there that I don't mind Littell at all. Then you got Joe Ryan, who's going to be towards the top. 4th highest priced pitcher on the slate at 9,500. Looking at him, coming off not a good start against Cleveland and then a really good start against Texas. Splits-wise has not faced Tampa Bay this year. Pitching at home, got a 3.77 ERA, so he is better at home. But he does have a 4.21 ERA on the year overall. So he has been hit hard at 9,500. I think I'd rather pay up at 10,700 for Verlander than I would paying Joe Ryan at 9,500. So looking at the bats in this one, not a ton of bats that I love here. This might be a game where I feel like you could probably skip this game and feel confident about everything else. Yandy Diaz, Randy Arozarena, Brandon Lau, Luke Raley, I would look at. Isaac Paredes, I would look at. Taylor Walls, I would look at. Flip side of that, the Twins against Littell, Max Kepler, Matt Wallner, Royce Lewis, Julian, Alex Kirilloff as a cheaper option. Solano and Correa are, they're going to be more popular than Julian or Kirilloff, probably. Maybe go down to Jordan Luplow, maybe Willie Castro. Not a ton that I like in this one. I'm feeling maybe a little bit more towards a Tampa Bay stack, but I might be avoiding this game completely, pitchers and bats. Royals at the White Sox, Jordan Lyles versus to be announced as of right now. It does look like it's going to be Touki Toussaint. So you do have, I feel like they just faced each other last week, right? Jordan Lyles against Jordan Lyles against the White Sox last week. That was in Kansas City, which was a pitcher's park. Lyles went 5.1 innings, 3 earned runs, 0 strikeouts, 1.2 fantasy points. Feel like it's going to be the exact same thing. He's obviously seen him 3 times this year, giving up 11 earned runs, 12 runs total, 3 home runs, and 11 total Ks. Has a 5.12 ERA against White Sox this year. I'm looking at the White Sox to stack against him. And then Touki Toussaint, same thing. Faced Kansas City last week. We used him because it was in Kansas City and people were off of him, and I knew his ownership was going to be down. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 6 Ks, 22.5 fantasy points at 6,300. Now he is 6,900, so he is up there. That's the only time he's faced Kansas City this year. Kind of like him again here, as long as the weather holds out. Pitching at home, 4.19. I don't mind him. Probably tournament only. But if you're not using either of these pitchers, there's definitely a lot of bats that we could be looking at. So Kansas City bats are going to be on the cheaper end, and you could find the value there, and we'll kind of talk about that. But MJ Melendez against Touki, I don't mind. Lefty on lefty there. Miguel Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Nelson Velasquez, I love. Salvi Perez, I love. Michael Massey's a cheaper option. Edward Olivares is a cheaper option I like. Drew Waters is even cheaper that I like. Flip side of that, the White Sox bats, Eloy, Luis Robert Jr., Andrew Vaughn I love here. Maybe Yohan Moncada a little bit. Yasmani Grandal I'm okay with, and Andrew Benintendi I don't mind either. Other options I do like, but those would be the ones for the White Sox if you want to stack in this game. But I won't have any Jordan Lyles. I might have a little bit of Touki, but I will have stacks of both. Marlins at the Brewers, to be announced versus Freddie Peralta. Absolutely love Freddie Peralta. It's a picture of the video and the article for a reason. Love me Freddie Peralta here. So we look at this. He's up here at the highest price pitcher on the slate, 11,800. So you got to find the value when you come down. With Miami, it looks like it's going to be Edward Cabrera. He last pitched on Wednesday, so we got to make sure. They were going with a different mindset there with pitchers, but now Edward Cabrera here, coming off a fantastic game against the Dodgers, where he was 6,400, went 27.2, but he has jumped up to 8,100. As you can see, his price was up there even further before. Splitswise has not faced Milwaukee this year. Pitching on the road, has a 6.28 ERA on the road in 10 starts. Probably too rich for my blood at 8,100. If he was still around 6,400, I would think about that. But yeah, I like Freddie Peralta here, going up against them, coming off a terrible game against Pittsburgh, which makes no sense because Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh, then had a really good game against Philly, has not faced Miami this year. He is pitching at home where he does have a better ERA, 3.59. I'm mainly focused on Freddie Peralta, and I'm focused on looking at the Milwaukee bats. So William Contreras, Christian Yelich, Willie Adames. Those are the ones that are mainly focused on. Then you could look at a Sal Frelick. I'm going to go down a little bit. Carlos Santana, Rowdy Tellez, depending on who's in there. Josh Donaldson is getting called up. Josh Donaldson should be... He's still 3,800. Has not played since July 15th. got hurt, done, got cut from the Yankees. He's 30. I wouldn't use Josh Donaldson at 3,800. So yeah, those would be the main focus on there. If you're not going with Freddie Peralta because you think he's going to get lit up like he did his last start, Jake Berger, Jazz Chisholm, Josh Bell come to mind, Luis Arraez, Jesus Sanchez, Brian De La Cruz would be the other ones that I'd look at in this lineup here. Next game, Athletics at the Astros. I want nothing to do with JP Sears. I want all the smoke with Justin Verlander. I want Justin Verlander, and then I want the Astros bats. I want Bregman, Altuve, Kyle Tucker hits lefties very well. Yordan Alvarez hits lefties very well. Those are the bats. Jeremy Pena a little bit, depending on who's out there in the outfield. Chas McCormick if he's out there. Michael Brantley I don't mind against a lefty. I will have multiple different Astros stacks, and I will be all over Justin Verlander against the Oakland Athletics. Then we look at his price. If you don't want to pay up for Freddie Peralta, $11,800, you could drop down to go to Verlander at $10,700 because he does have a better matchup against Oakland. So we're not even going to break down the actual teams because I don't want anything to do with the Astros or the A's pitchers or bats in this one. So strictly Astros all the way in this game, 100%. Cubs at the Rockies, Javier Assad versus Chris Flexen. Just because it's in Coors, I don't want either pitcher. I will look at the bats, though. So just looking at the bats in this one, it really depends on who's in that lineup because I do not trust either pitcher there. It's really just hard to trust a pitcher in Coors unless they're Garrett Cole, where we did use him before, and he helped us immensely there. Ones I would look at, Chris Morel, Suzuki, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, Candelario, Cody Bellinger, Yan Gomes. Those are all the main ones. If you want to get a little bit lower down the totem pole there, Tauchman if he leads off, but again, you never know if he's going to get pulled out the game early. Nick Madrigal or Nico Horner are a cheaper option. Patrick Wisdom is that boomer bust play there. Or Alexander Canario would be very... Oh, Pete... Well, actually, let's see. So Pete Crow Armstrong is going to be $3,000 in Colorado. That's a very cheap option there. That's a big bat there coming for him, getting called up, gets to go in Coors at $3,000. He should be in almost all of your lineups if you're stacking the Cubs. So start with a Pete Crow Armstrong stack for the Cubs. Go Cody Bellinger, Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson. You can fit him in there when one of your pieces is $3,000 compared to like Bellinger's probably what, $6,800. So he's almost $7,000. So yeah, you're going to find some value there with Pete Crow Armstrong. So yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. And then other side, Ryan McMahon, Nolan Jones, Brendan Rodgers I would look at. Elias Diaz I would look at. Hunter Goodman is a cheaper option. Maybe Charlie Blackmon. That's as far down as I would go in that one. So yeah, focus more on the bats. I'm more focused on the Cubs bats, but I don't want any pitcher, and I'll have a little bit of exposure on the other side. You just got to check the Vegas numbers to see how high up the number is with the over-under. Angels at the Mariners, Patrick Sandoval versus Brian Wu. Taking, I don't want anything. Brian Wu, I don't mind. Let's take a look at him. It's going to be 7,900 going up against the Angels. Game logs, not a good game his last start at 8,000. They did drop him down one. Had a really good game against Oakland. Splits-wise, he's already faced the Angels twice this year. 10.2 innings, 4 earned runs, has 13 strikeouts, averaging 17.7 fantasy points per game against them, which would hit the 2 times value. So I will have some exposure to Brian Wu. I'll love him even more if Ohtani is out. We'll just have to kind of see if he's in or out. And then Patrick Sandoval, I really want nothing to do with because Seattle hits lefties well. He's only faced them once this year, giving up 10 hits and 5 earned runs with 8 Ks, 1 home run. So I'm all over Seattle as a stack. It's not going to be too hard to figure out the bats that we like, but I love Eugenio Suarez. I love Teoscar Hernandez. Julio Rodriguez I would look at. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper I'm looking at. Maybe J.P. Crawford. Ty France is a cheaper option. Dylan Moore is a cheaper option. Other side of that, yeah, I like Brian Wu. If Ohtani is in, I'm okay with Ohtani. Brandon Drury I'm okay with. It's basically it. There's not much to like about the Angels. So I will be all over Brian Wu. I will be all over the Mariners as one of the top stacks on the slate against Patrick Sandoval. And that's pretty much the extent of what I'm looking at in this game here. Then we got the Guardians at the Giants. You've got Cal Quantrill versus Sean Manaea. I love Quantrill here because he's facing San Francisco in San Francisco, but let's dig into the numbers a little bit. And then if you look at Manaea, he's usually coming in middle of the game. And Cal Quantrill's 5,500, which makes a perfect option if you want to pay up for the other, like Freddie Peralta or Justin Verlander. Game logs coming off a really good game here against the Angels, 5.3K. Splits-wise, has not faced San Francisco this year. Pitching on the road, a 5.40 ERA, but this is a fantastic pitcher's park for you. And 5,500. He's going 6 innings, too, so I don't know why he's this low priced. So maybe they know something I don't, but I will be all over Cal Quantrill. And then Manaea here, 3 innings, 3.1, 3.2, 2.2. So he's usually coming in. He's only started 7 times of the year. Splits-wise, yeah. Or he started 6 times. This will be his 7th. Pitching at home, he does have a 3.75 ERA. I don't know if I'll have any exposure to bats here, but I won't have Manaea. I will have Cal Quantrill. We can kind of look at the bats real quick. If you're not using Manaea, Jose Ramirez, obviously switch hitter. Love Jose Ramirez. Bo Naylor, I'm okay with. Miles Straw, I don't mind. You want to get a little bit lower. Tyler Freeman, Andres Jimenez, Will Brennan, I'm okay with. I'm mainly focused on Cal Quantrill. I don't want anything to do with San Francisco. I really don't want anything to do with Cleveland bats. I'm just strictly Cal Quantrill, and that's basically it. And then the final game on the slate, you got Michael Wacha versus Lance Lynn. Padres at the Dodgers. We know that Lance Lynn has given up, 40 home runs this year, and he's just looked bad. Michael Wacha, I'm okay with. I feel like he just faced them, right? Michael Wacha is 8,900. No, he didn't. He has not faced them this year. Pitching on the road, 3.65. It's really hard to take against the Dodgers. Probably not focused on pitching here. The fact that that's what I was kind of thinking. The fact that they have Lance Lynn at 8,400 still, mind-blowing. Game logs, minus 9.5, minus 8.3, 6.9, 18.8. He's still 8,400. Got lit up by the Marlins, gave up 3 home runs. Got lit up by Atlanta, gave up 3 home runs there. Boston gave up 2 home runs. He's a home run giving up machine. I am all over just San Diego stack here. Fernando Tatis leading off. Don't be surprised if he leads off with a home run. Juan Soto against him. Manny Machado, Ha-Seong Kim. Trent Grisham I'm looking at. Xander Bogaerts I'm looking at. Jurickson Profar is a cheaper option that I don't mind there. So yeah, I mean, those are the ones. Soto, Tatis, Machado, Grisham, Bogaerts, Ha-Seong Kim, maybe even Jurickson Profar. I would look at those. I don't want anything to do with Lance Lynn. I'm stacking against Lance Lynn. If you're not using Michael Wacha, which I don't blame you, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Mookie Betts I'm looking at. Cheaper options, James Outman, David Peralta is a very cheap option I would look at. If he's in, Jason Hayward as well. So I want nothing to do with either of these pitchers. I'm mainly focused on San Diego bats. I'll have sprinkled in some Dodgers bats. And there you go. There's the breakdown. There's all the bats, all of the pitching that's currently on the slate. Unless something changes, we will let you know. Check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com for all of your DFS needs. And now we're going to go over the simulations through 2,000 simulations. The top 15 bats. I want to go 15 because I want to show you the trend there. So number one is Tatis against Lynn. Number 2 is Ryan McMahon. Number 3 is Cody Bellinger. Number 4 is Seiya Suzuki. Number 5 is Mookie Betts. 6 is Dansby Swanson. 7 is Max Muncy. 8 is Yordan Alvarez. 9 is Jose Altuve. 10 is Ian Happ. 11 is Kyle Tucker. 12 is Jeimer Candelario. 13 is Juan Soto. 14, Alex Bregman. And number 15 is Julio Rodriguez against Patrick Sandoval. So top 15, we have only 1 Colorado bat. We do have 5 Chicago Cubs bats, 2 San Diego bats, 4 Houston bats, 2 Dodgers bats, and 1 Seattle bat. So loves the 2000 simulations, love the Cubs in Coors, which I told you. Going to sprinkle in Pete Crow Armstrong there. You kind of have to. Love a Houston stack against JP Sears. Think that was kind of explanatory. And then I believe towards 10,000, San Diego will be up there more than just 2 batters. And then looking at the pitchers for the day, it loves Nick Pivetta against the Yankees, loves Joe Ryan against Tampa Bay, Brian Wu against LA, Verlander against Oakland, Scherzer against Toronto. I don't know about that one. Wheeler against Atlanta. I don't think I can trust Wheeler against that offense. Shamanaya, no. I don't know how long Shamanaya is going to go into the game. Patrick Sandoval against Seattle, no thank you. So you can see, like, you don't have to agree with all of the simulations. These will change. It's got Zach Littell against Minnesota, Michael Wacha against the Dodgers, and Carlos Rodon against Boston. So it does need a little bit tweaking for the pitching, but the bats are all over it. So that's what I've got in this video for you all. Hopefully you found it helpful and useful. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Be on the lookout for all the NFL content coming this week. Good luck on this slate, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!